Hello everybody, let me turn this up. How is everybody? My name is Austin Randolph. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time seeing my face. If it's not your first time seeing my face and you've kind of come across one of my videos before, I'm going to ask a favor. It's a big favor, so emotionally prepare yourself. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would mean a lot to me. It helps me out a lot on the back end, so if you could, I would really appreciate it. But I've had this guitar for a year. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. So today we're talking about the McCready Signature Stratocaster. Also, to note, if the audio quality was not incredible with me playing, I wasn't planning on playing. I just kind of grabbed it and figured that I know I have 2 videos already about this guitar, but I don't know, I just kind of started playing it. So you got the mic on the other side of the room, but the long and short of the whole point of this today is that I made an initial review video when I got this guitar, and then I made a follow-up because it's kind of at an interesting price point for Mexican Fenders. It's expensive for a Mexican Fender. I think these are $1,900 brand new. It was $1,900 or $1,600 brand new. But I will include the Sweetwater down below if you've been shopping around, if you saw my first video about it, and you've been thinking about pulling the trigger, and this changes your mind, this pushes you and convinces you to do so, please use my link. I get a little kickback from it, and I always appreciate it. But really, the point of today is I'm going over things that a lot of times I will get a guitar, and usually if I get a guitar, it's because I find a good deal on it, and it's to make, videos on YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Sometimes I have it for a month, sometimes I have it for 3, sometimes I have it for 6. And a lot of times if it's just not something that clicks with me, or weirdly enough, if it's not something where when I look at it, I feel like it kind of looks like me, if that makes sense. It's just a guttural thing. If I feel over a couple of months that it's just, maybe it's not really for me, I can't see myself looking at this every day for 10 years in my house, or playing it every couple weeks or whatever, I tend to get rid of it. But I still have this. And I still have this because this is very much, yes, it's expensive for a Mexican Fender. This is the best Strat I've ever owned, me personally, and not necessarily that I've played. The only reason I'm saying that I've played is because, I hang out in guitar stores a lot. I play plenty of Fender custom shop stuff. Is this on the same level? Not necessarily. Is this as close as I've gotten in my house? Yes. So I'm just going to go over some things that really stand out to me over the other Stratocasters I've had over the years, of which there are more than a few. So the neck profile really is unique. The neck profile, it's thinner and slimmer than the modern C, and I really like the modern C that Fender does, but the neck profile, it's smaller, and the relicing finish they did on the back of the neck, I think is really good. What I mean is you can still see some sheen on that. It doesn't feel like they just took some 220 grit sandpaper and went to town on the back of a normal lacquered neck. They still left some lacquer there, and so the relic feels really good and comfortable on the back of the neck. While we're on the topic of relic, like it or hate it, that's not what this video is about. Whether or not this is the best relic job in the world, that's not what this video is about. Here's how the relic makes me feel. That's really kind of why I still have this, why I have no plans of getting rid of this, is because of how this guitar makes me feel. This guitar makes me feel like I was at a jam a couple nights ago with my buddies, and it was in kind of a tight basement. I hadn't been there before, and I was walking around the corner with this still on my shoulder to go get a pop or something, and I think this corner over here banged into the corner of a wall. So it's not like I noticed. So I really enjoy that freedom that comes from a guitar that already looks beat up, that you can really continue to beat up. Half of it I think is psychological, and you can really, really, when you're playing, wail on it, and you're not worried about even breaking a string, which makes no logical sense, but it seems like it gives you permission to wail on it more. It gives me just the freedom to not worry about bumping it into this table I have right here, or bumping the headstock into this. It takes me harming the guitar out of the equation when I'm interacting with it, and for some reason, it just makes me more comfortable with it. And it looks cool, but that personal preference, but I think it looks cool. And at this price point, you really don't find a lot of heavy relic stuff. You have the Jason Isbell Telly, but that's more of like a journeyman relic. Still super cool, but I would say this is a lot more beat up than that is. Another thing that apparently you get when you buy a really expensive Mexican Telly, this rosewood on the neck is really dark and chocolatey and very pretty. So that's just an aside, but I still look at this, sorry, I had a burp. I still look at this fretboard and every once in a while and go, ooh, that's it's a pretty kind of rosewood. I don't know if the light's going to do it justice, but I promise. I love the vintage tuning machines. I love the, you know what? It took some getting used to because these pickups feel hotter than what I would expect them to feel, but I think I like them. The neck, I know it's supposed to be a set that kind of resembles a 1960 Strat. I don't know how accurate that is, but the neck is so loud and open and airy, but it's a really loud Strat neck pickup. Because I don't have the height set crazy high on these. I'd say it's pretty normal for Strat pickups. But the bridge crunches up, and the bridge, it feels like a really good set of pickups. And I realize the structure of this video is kind of a nightmare because literally I'm just in my head trying to explain why I still have it, why I think you should get one, without, necessarily going through spec by spec. A lot of why I still have this is because of the way it looks and the way it feels and the way it makes me feel. The way it makes me feel is, I guess, free, if that makes any sense, because it's already beat up, because it looks and feels like an old Strat, which I think in the back of my mind, I grew up watching so many of the people I admired play old beat up Strats, whether it's Frusciante or John Mayer or Stevie Ray Vaughan. Those are like the classic examples, right? I had a guitar teacher that played what did he have? I think he had a 64 Strat, but so many of them played instruments like this. And I would watch these guys just wail on these guitars that were never made to be wailed on like that, but it's one of the most beautiful sounds that you'll ever hear, is like a Stratocaster with a TS9 and a guy just going to town on it. So part of it is perception. I know part of it's perception on my part. Does that matter? I don't think so. I think that because what I see, feel, and smell, it still has a little bit of the nitro smell, which I enjoy greatly. I think because of that, I feel more free to treat it like it's an old beat up Strat and play like those guys played. And there's just something freeing about it already being beat up and feeling worn in and comfortable on the neck that makes me wail on it a little harder. And like I said, the pickups are good pickups. The fretwork is good. The neck feels good. The relic does its job in my eyes. And it just feels like home when I pick it up. Chalk it up to the relic, chalk it up to the fact that I grew up playing Strats. I don't know, man, but I've had a lot of Strats, and I've played a lot of Strats. Enough to know that this is a really good one. So, that being said, I really think after having it for a year, playing it for a year, and I still have it, and it's still my go-to. Let me put it this way. So I do these like at my desk in my house, right? This is my desk that my little tripod's sitting on. My middle spot on the wall, right there, tends to be like where my go-to just grab a guitar hangs. I have 3 on the wall where the camera is right now. This hasn't moved since I brought it home. It's right there because I think it's fun and pretty to look at, and I just grab it and I play it all the time. So for what it's worth, I blow through a lot of guitars doing this channel, or at least trying to build this channel up. I still have this one. It feels like home. It sounds immaculate. So, is it expensive for a Mexican Stratocaster? Yeah, of course it is. Nobody's disagreeing with that. Do I think there is something to be said with the quality of product you're getting, buying the highest price point that factory makes, where it's still kind of achievable by American guitar standards? Yes. It's like buying the best. Ooh, we like car analogies here, right? It's like buying the top of the line Genesis, which is a company owned by Hyundai. And then then comparing that to like a Mercedes, right? You'd think it's an inferior product because it's a Korean made, like from a historically more economy company. When you buy the best product that a place makes, it feels like the best product a place makes. So this, I legitimately, even though it's not necessarily on the same level of custom shop, will this put me off of Fender custom shop for a little while? Am I content with this for a few years so I don't go and blow my entire checking account on a Fender custom shop? Yes, I am. It gets me close enough. I am so happy with this. I'm rambling so bad. If you've been thinking about grabbing one, use my link down below. If you have one and you love it, let me know in the comments. If you have one and it was a piece of shit and you hated it, let me know in the comments. All is good for engagement. So that's all I got, everybody. If you've been thinking about pulling the trigger, I really recommend you do it. I love this guitar. So until next time, everybody, take care.